Today on Too Many Projects Garage, we got some stuff for the Subaru planned as well as the Civic. Stay tuned. So one of the projects this weekend is going to be the Subaru, and what I want to work on the Subaru is I want to take this door panel off. And the reason why I want to take the door panel off is because I want to take this handle off. And I want to design this handle in CAD so I can 3D print it. And the reason why I want to 3D print this one, because it's here, right? I want to mirror it, and then I want to put it over there. See how that one's missing? Unfortunately, you can't buy that handle at all separately other than buying the whole dang door panel with the handle attached. So I would rather save a little bit of money, because I'm sure it'd be expensive to have that whole door panel shipped. I'd rather just print it out and then save that door panel and have a door handle that works. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be way better than it was, and I'm sure it'll be functional. Also, check this out. New back seat. Now, the mounting mechanism doesn't quite fit up correctly, because I believe this is slightly different in the years that I bought it, but the color is exactly the same. It fits, it looks right. We just got to get it mounted and, so it doesn't go anywhere. And we'll be good to go on that. So that might be something we mess with this weekend as well. But for now, I'm going to go in the Civic to the salvage yard and look for some parts for it, as well as some parts for this if I can find some parts, because we're still missing one more piece too. We're missing the bottom part of this shell there, so I need to find a bottom piece for that, and then I think we'll be good to go when it comes to the interior, and then I can clean it up and get it detailed and whatnot. So let's get to the salvage yard. So the salvage yard was a total bust, so I guess what we're gonna do is get to work on the Subaru, taking the door panel off, see if we can get this door handle off so we can try to 3D design it. Wish me luck. I'm not sure how good of a job I'm gonna do, but let's get this door panel off. I got the door panel off, and the speaker just fell out, so it's not even attached. Nice. It's a Pioneer speaker, not too bad. Looks like it needs to be screwed back in, so that's definitely gonna be happening. Also, looks like they just taped it together, so we're gonna see if I can fix that proper as well. Whoever messed with this car before me and Randy, rough, man. It's not good. So we're gonna have to get this door panel or door handle off and see if we can recreate it. So it's gonna be a little tougher than I expected. This door panel looks like they heat rivet the actual handle in the door. So in order to actually get this door handle off, I'm gonna have to cut these, which I don't really know if I feel like doing or if I feel like messing with it, because I really do not want to make it worse. Let me think on it. So I've decided I'm just gonna drill these out, and we're just gonna tap and screw them, honestly, because this one's broken. This stud over here is broken where that's screwed in, and then I'll just get some screws that screw in. I'll just drill and then screw in some actual screws in there. I think honestly that will work just fine. Hold it on just fine, and this way I can actually go in and try to recreate it. All right, I got it out. Though it looks like they did actually, that melting was not factory. I think they did that afterwards to keep the door handle on there. So what I'm gonna have to do is maybe tap it a little deeper and put some longer screws in. I don't know, for this one specifically. Unless we, design another one, we just put 2 new ones on there. There's a thought as well. It's gonna be fun trying to make this in CAD, but we'll give it a shot. All right, guys, this is the next day. We're here with the Subaru. I 3D printed that door handle, as you saw via the time lapse. Now, whether or not it's actually gonna work is another question. I think I'm gonna have to make some modifications to it. It doesn't quite fit perfectly. There's a few things, but look at that. It's pretty darn close. And plus I printed that out of like a PLA, which doesn't hold up well in the heat. It's only gonna be there for a short period of time. But I need to get this door panel off so I can get rid of these studs here. because they obviously aren't very useful in this situation. I test fitted this, it fits okay. Probably have to secure it because the clips are broken on it. I'll probably have to secure it in a different way, and man, look at that, that's nasty. I didn't realize it was so dirty. Oh well, I mean, it'll be clean anyways. I'm probably gonna clean all this up as well, all the door panels off, just because, I don't know, I think it's like pop or something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but whatever. So I gotta get this door handle off, and then I should be able to pop all the things off to get this door out. Door handle V1 success, I think. Just gotta make a couple modifications. One of the modifications is to get this to sit securely, and I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend this part out a little bit, same thing here, and then also make it where I can screw this into here where this hard mounts to the door panel, versus actually pulling on the door panel, you're pulling on, you know, the actual door itself there. So just a couple little, you know, fitment things that I need to do to make it perfect, I think is what the goal is. Also, I could probably cut out a little bit of section for this little piece right here. Thinking about doing that. Let's see, what else? Honestly, that's about it. And yeah, I was gonna just countersink some screws in here and then just have it screw in, because I don't know of any other way, since this piece is broken. There's like a little clip there is broken. I figure a couple of screws flush mounted with this plastic, I think it would look perfectly acceptable, honestly. So yeah, pretty exciting. I'm gonna get to work modifying this file now that I know what I need to do. And we'll print another one out, though it'll probably take another day to print, because this printed in 10 hours, this whole section. 10 hours to print, so I've got to print another one, and that's probably going to take another 10 at least. So this time tomorrow we'll have another go at it, and fingers crossed that might be the one I stick with, or I might have to make some more modifications. All right guys, after many hours of printing, and the next day I've got the final part printed out, and it had to print it in 3 different parts, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it together with acetone. Since this is ASA plastic, the benefit of being ASA is I can actually glue it together with acetone. So these seams will basically become one piece of plastic with the solvent, and you know, it'll be really secure at that point. It's like welding basically. So pretty excited to get this together, and then I'm going to mount it to the door panel. Now, one thing I was thinking about doing, since this is kind of a rough surface, you know, it's not perfect, was wrapping it in some kind of soft material like leather or something. But what I want to do is I just want to get it, I'm just going to screw it to the door panel so we can remove it and wrap it later. But I just want to get it mounted and see how it does, see how strong it is, and then go from there. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to get these apart, put them together temporarily. Ooh, that was a little violent. A little 3 different parts. Ugh. So as you can see, we got pegs, and then this has holes in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go all over this whole thing with acetone, and then inside the holes too, and then I'm going to put it together. So I think that'll work pretty well. Fairly confident. Gotta remember how I put it together in the first place. Okay, like this. So let's get the acetone open. You got the acetone on here, so let's kind of rub it all on the surface here. I need more than that, actually. You like dip it down in there. Oh yeah. And that should theoretically get it nice and secure. I'm gonna kind of hold it here for a little bit. It sits in there pretty securely. Then probably what I'm gonna end up doing too is kind of pushing it together and then dripping it in the cracks, you know, just so that way I can really get it secure. I want it to be like never, ever, ever gonna come apart. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll get back with you guys here in a second. We got it all glued together. This is pretty much solid as it can be. Nice and dry, no acetone leaking out. You can look real close. It's a little shiny in those areas, but that's just where it melted the plastic together. I don't foresee having any issues at all with this door handle. It feels very solid, which is really nice. I printed it very thickly, so it would be very strong. So now what I want to do is I want to clean this up because it is really dirty. Look how nasty it is. And then I want to mount this to it. I don't want to mount this to it before I clean this thing because look how nasty it is. So gross. So let's get to it and then we'll mount it up. It is looking much cleaner now. I very much appreciate that I can touch it without feeling totally grossed out. Check it out, guys. She's mounted. I know it was kind of abrupt. I just got into it. I was like, let me just get it done. So very securely mounted. You can shake it really hard. It ain't going anywhere. I've got a couple screws countersunk in here to hold this on. It's nice and secure now. You know, door locks work, which is really nice. So I've got to get a new screw in here. It's missing, but that's fine. But for now, versus having no door handle at all, this is a huge, massive improvement. You don't have any problem shutting the door. Oh, I locked the door. No problem shutting the door with this handle. I have no problems. And, you know, my arm can sit up on it. It's fine. Sits up on it pretty well. So, yeah, exciting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did I do a good job on this? Do you think it was worth me going in and 3D printing a new door handle? Personally, I think it was worth it because I learned a lot about 3D printing this way. And like I said, I can cover this up with some fabric or leather or something in the future, but for now, this is perfectly acceptable. I can definitely open and shut the door, no problem, versus not having any door handle at all. So put in the comments below what you think. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is work on the back seat. Let me put the seat forward. The back seat mounting mechanism is different on this seat bottom, if I can get it up here, versus the one that came in the car. The one that came in the car originally has like a hinge mechanism. Can you see that? Versus this one just goes straight down to the floor like a lot of traditional seats. So I'm not sure why that is, why there's a hinge thing. So we just gotta kind of fabricate something to mount this part into the floor or something. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. I don't think it'll be that hard because we definitely need a back seat, and this seat actually looks really good. It matches very well, I think. All the fabric matches, so we just got to get this mounted in there, but I'm going to take a break for today, and you'll see me next time shortly when we start working on this. It'll probably be this weekend. Hey guys, I'm back. We just got done working on the door panel. This is about a week later. Randy has really lit a fire under me to get stuff knocked out as soon as possible because he's got to sell this car to recoup some of the costs that he's dealing with down at his place. So we're gonna get this knocked out. I've got to replace the wheel bearings, rear wheel bearings on this car. That's one thing because that's not too good. We've also got to put this door handle back on. We got to clean it as much as humanly possible because it is nasty in there. It still smells pretty bad. I've got to mount this seat so that way it stays in place because, you know, otherwise you can't really ride in the back very easily. I've also got to get the radio hooked up if possible, so that's done. So, you know, I've got a little bit on my agenda this week, so luckily enough I have a few days off, so I can really focus on this car and get most of it knocked out. I think I've pretty much got everything I need to get everything done, but it's just going to take a minute to get there. So this is where I lost a little footage. My camera acted up and just didn't record. I'm not exactly sure why, but you know what happens. Imagine right now I'm explaining to you and showing you the wheels and how they're not painted and the paint's really worn off, the trim pieces, how they're worn off the paint, as well as the wiper blades, they don't have any paint on them, and how I'm going to go to Lowe's and get some supplies so I can repaint and make it look a little bit better, more spruced up is the overall goal. All right guys, I got the supplies. We got some Rust-Oleum satin protective enamel. We also got some brake clean so we can clean off the wheels because they are pretty dirty right now. And we got some Scotch tape so we can tape off the wheels so that way I don't get too much overspray on the tire because that'll look a little meh. I mean, it'll come off over time just mainly because of just wear and stuff, but still, I don't want to mess with that. And then of course, we're going to spray paint these because they look pretty ugly. So we'll do that. And then spray paint this trim, like I said. So there's a few things you need to do. Also, I was thinking about spray painting on the Civic, these, because they're supposed to be black. And honestly, this all needs resprayed. Same thing with this. And then let's see over here. This really needs sprayed too. So if I have any leftover paint, I'll do that as well. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, let's just brake clean the crap out of this wheel. See if we can get it looking a little bit cleaner. Because it's like covered in like, I don't know, just gravel, all kinds of stuff. Let's get it nice and washed out. Might have to get some, you know, paper towels or whatever on it. Woo. It's already way cleaner already. Get a good surface to spray paint to. Let that evaporate, and then we'll come back around with the Scotch tape, the painter's tape. So I'm going to go around to each wheel and do this. Alright, I got the first wheel painted. It's not perfect, but I mean, in comparison to what it looked like before, it's definitely way better. I think I have a couple runs, unfortunately, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So maybe I'll learn my technique on the next one, basically. I gotta get some brake clean and I gotta wipe them down. They're way too dusty. The brake clean just didn't take off most of the stuff. Also, I spray painted this, though there's gonna be some little bits in the paint. I can wipe those off after it's done drying. That won't be too big a deal. But yeah, I need to wipe that down some more. All right, guys, I gave it a little bit of time to set up, and it rained, but before it rained, I put some, you know, stuff over what I painted because, like, some trash bags and whatnot, and it stayed dry. So, from what I can tell. Oh man, there's some stuff on the paint. Dang. You know, it's not perfect, I'll say. It's not gonna be perfect. I gotta wait for it to dry, and I kind of got a little mess up there, but it definitely looks way better than it did before. It was very shiny before, and it was very jarring to look at. And unfortunately, it's still pretty tacky, this paint is, because it's so humid. But even then, it still looks way better than it did. So I'm going to take this off because it's not necessary anymore. I'm not painting this anymore. So we'll get this all off. And from afar, it's definitely going to look better. Nobody's like looking at these wheels and being like, you know, I see these small imperfections and blah, 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 blah. I mean, the car's not perfect, so anything to make it better, right? That's the overall goal, just to make it better. Not going to be perfect. Otherwise, it'd be very expensive. Oh, come on. There we go. Tape was not giving me any slack here. There you go. This should all be able to come off pretty easily. Yeah, not too bad. Like I said, a little bit of imperfections, mainly because I had to freaking cover them up when it rained. Like, it rained for only like a split second and it like poured. It was crazy. It was like the whole sky just let loose on us. I was like, no, I didn't realize it was gonna rain this soon. Because on the forecast, it did not say it was supposed to rain until like 10 p.m. Well, as you can see by how much light's out here, it's not 10 p.m. So I was like, oh, sure enough, it'll be set up enough by 10 that it'll be fine, even if it does rain. Well, nope. It was not fine. So I had to cover them up. And in the process of covering them up, I got some of the gravel that was on the tire onto the paint, which is annoying, but I'll just let it continue drying, and then I can just knock off the gravel. It's like loosely sitting on the paint, so once it's done drying, it'll be much better. This is holding up well, but this is the most driest section. I didn't even bother covering it up. So I was like, yeah, that was the first thing I did. A little trim piece, and it looks pretty good. Definitely far better than before. Get all this tape off of here and throw it away. Oh, so I can't get it off my hands. Get off me. It's the worst thing about tape when you're trying to do it one-handed, which normally you're not trying to do it one-handed because you're not normally filming. So, oh, come on, can it all come off in one go? That would be amazing. Maybe. Just about. Oh yeah. This side actually looks really good. The passenger side. Like that one looks the best right there. And this one was the first one I did. And I managed to get some runs in it. But that was the first one, so I learned a little bit from my mistakes, you know. If you don't learn, that's part of doing, is learning, right? You're gonna make mistakes, and luckily enough, this is the car to make mistakes on because it's not perfect. And as long as it's good enough to sell, then that's all that matters. All right, what do you guys think? Look a lot better with the black paint? I think so. I think it looks way better, way more professional, I would say, or just nicer in general. I'll put up a picture here in a second of what it looked like before from earlier in the video, and you'll be able to tell the difference. I mean, it's a pretty big difference. So pretty pleased with that outcome. This looks pretty nice other than this little small blemish right there, but it's not really noticeable. I might redo that in a little bit, maybe later. Also, inside the shop, these painted too, look really nice. A lot better than they did. Still, you know, not perfect, but definitely better. And I'm excited to get these on the car. So we'll do that tomorrow when they're fully set up. And I'll probably spray paint the little nuts that go on there, so that way it blends in as well. All right, guys, I got these ready to go. I've given them enough time to set up, and they are looking black, whereas before they were not. So what I'm going to do is put them on the car. I also got some new windshield wipers because the windshield wipers that were on here were really bad. So I actually tried driving this when it was raining a few days ago, and yeah, it was bad. I could barely see. So we're gonna get these put on and get them done, and then I want to paint the top rails up here because, as you can see, most of the paint is missing. So I want to get those painted, and so that way it's not so visible, because if you stand back here in person, you can really see that they're there. So just kind of blend everything in, make it look a little bit more cohesive is the goal. And then after that, I'm going to put the door panel on the driver's side back in, which I don't know if you can see through the reflection, and then see if we can get this rear seat secured. So one of these you can actually access without having to take the hood up, but the other one you kind of have to put the hood back up. But we're going to do one for now. Let's get this on there, and we'll get it lined up so that way, because it's in the park position right now, so you just got to get it lined up basically where it was. We got to do this. That's what we got to do. And then it kind of just goes on. Let's make sure it's still lined up properly. Yep, still is. Let's get this nut on there. And then I'll zip these down with some, with an impact. There you go. Okay, so there's one. So I'm going to tighten that one down here in a minute. And basically, same thing goes for the shorter arm. That's gonna go right there. And it already looks way better. Looky there, guys. New windshield wiper installed, both of them. Wiper arms are black now. They look a lot better. Only thing that really stands out now is this nut here. It's very bright. So what I'm thinking about doing is just spritzing it with a little bit of paint just to kind of get it less visible. And I think that'll look a lot better. And then we'll get onto the top rails. All right, guys, we got all these taped off. Looks pretty good, I think. And so I'm gonna spray these down and we'll see what they look like after. All right, guys, looking pretty darn good. Much better than before. We'll see once it dries, once I pull off the tape, what that looks like. I'm sure it'll blend in much better than, you know, shiny metal, so not bad. So what I'm working on right now is repairing the posts on here, seeing if we can get them in a, you know, better position. Because right now they both broke off, so I'm epoxying them. At first I super glued them to get them to stay still, and then now I'm epoxying them so that way they are secure, because the super glue did not do enough. And I drilled some holes in each of these spots so I can get some screws in there. Like I said, they definitely melted them on. I don't believe that was how it was designed. I guess they broke before in the past and they melted them, because when I drilled through it, there was a cavity, like there was a screw in there in the past. So, but it should work now. I've got to get like 5 screws, I think, and then we should be good to go. So once that's done setting up, I'll get the door panel all put back together and get the driver's door panel back on. I think that'll be pretty good. And then we'll work on the back seat, seeing if we can get it mounted. All right, we've got the studs glued back on with some epoxy. They seem pretty sturdy. I'll be careful screwing them back in just in case. I don't want to break them. And then, yeah, of course, we've got screws to go in here. So let's get this put back on here so that way it's ready to go back in the car. All right, guys, got it all screwed back together, nice and secure. And we have a door handle for this side as well, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in the car. All right, guys, as you can see, I put a screw here and a screw here. Unfortunately, this plastic was broken. There was no other way to hold it on without just buying a whole new thing. So I'm gonna do the next best thing and use some screws, screw them in there and hold it in. So now, as you can see, it's not coming out, which is nice, whereas before it would just flop out and honestly wouldn't be held in by anything. So I think that's a win. I mean, it's not beautiful, but I mean, I got a 3D printed door handle, so what do you expect? But this is on there. I just need to screw this screw in right here, and I think we'll be good to go with it being attached. All right, guys, door panel is back together. So this door is done, pretty much. I've got the speaker securely mounted. I need to go over this side and securely mount this speaker, which will require me to take this whole door panel off, so great. But we gotta do it. Check it out, guys. Back seat is installed. Not going anywhere. I have it screwed in like so. I had to take out the old hinge things because they're not compatible with the seat base, but you know, honestly, you can't even tell that it wasn't meant to be in this car. It looks like it just fits perfectly, so no complaints there. And honestly, I think I'm gonna call it quits on the car for now, assuming Randy wants me to do anything more. As of right now, he wants the car back so he can sell it, which I totally get. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get to the radio. That's just one thing I'm gonna miss. And you know, you can't get everything you want done, unfortunately. You know, he's got to get it on the road to somebody else, which I totally get.
It's got a seat now.
Yep, I got Randy here. He's picking up the car, and he's checking it out for the first time, and since he gave it to me to borrow.
Yeah.
It's not clean. Still, it needs to be cleaned out. I feel like that would raise the value considerably, just having it cleaned out. Honestly, that's probably the biggest issue.
Would.
But check it out.
I'm out of time on it, man. I got no more time. Yeah, look at that.
Pretty solid. I mean, if you pull on it, you know, it works.
Yeah.
Got a back seat where it didn't have a back seat before. You can sit in it. I even made sure it was mounted in there properly.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
That's a big deal having a seat.
Yeah, I mean, that really raises the value just having a back seat too, honestly. Not having one is like, who's gonna buy a car with no back seats?
Yeah.
A 4-door car. That's dumb. So it wasn't too expensive, so it was worth it. Also, I meant to do the wheel bearings, rear wheel bearings.
Oh, does it need bearings?
Rear.
Okay.
It's a little hummy on the highway.
Okay.
So it's included.
All right.
So for whoever wants to buy it. So also, I was going to have you sign this stolen artifact.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why not? And then I will give it away to one of the people on the channel. Why not? Heck yeah, I'll sign it too. We'll send it off to whoever. Sounds fun.
Yeah, that's a fun little giveaway there.
Yeah, why not? Give you a memento of the channels, both channels.
Yeah.
It starts up just fine, like a charm. So beautifully, it'll drive just fine.
Yeah,
So
she's in better shape than she was, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time on Too Many Projects Garage.